up, everybody? It's your girl Naya, and we are here for another edition of Off the Record. Again, thank you all for joining us for all of the Off the Records thus far. We've had a great time talking about current events, but with a biblical perspective, and today is no different. Today is super special. You want to know why? Because we have two students here at TCS in Cedar Hill, Texas, and guess what? I'm just meeting them for the first time. So this is going to be amazing. I want you to help me welcome Patrick and Alexa. Give it up, studio audience. Come on. I see you. I'm excited. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey. I pulled them. Don't tell anybody. I pulled them out of class, pulled them out of school to have this conversation. And so I'll let you all know, and you all know what we're going to do today. We're just going to talk about what's happening in our world, but from a Gen Z perspective. These two are Gen Zers. First of all, what do you feel about Gen? Is that a thing that you adopt and accept? Gen Z, what does it mean to be a Gen Zer? What are the characteristics of a Gen Zer?
You want to go first, Patrick?
Sleep in.
Sleep in,
Sleep
yeah.
in's a big thing.
What else do y'all like to do?
I think it's more of a unique generation. Mm-hmm. We don't really have one sole thing that we do.
Okay.
Everyone's different. Everyone's unique. But
yes.
Gen Z and TikTok go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Gen Z, TikTok, your TikTok generation.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm a millennial. I believe I'm on the tail end. I'm almost a baby boomer. Okay. I'm on the tail end, but I want to hear just from you guys. What of a whirlwind, if it has been that 2020 has been for you. I think it's rocked all of our worlds. And so when I say 2020, just give me one word that comes to mind. 2020.
Opportunity.
Ooh, 2020.
Depressing.
We have the spectrum, okay? Why do you say opportunity?
We all know coronavirus was crazy, to sum it up. And I feel like, personally, I get so caught up in having like a plan, a little steps, a little guide to what I want to do. Yeah. And since Corona walked my what a little, just helped me expand and helped me really get out of my comfort zone. And a lot of doors to open up for me. So
I love that. Listen, that's controversial within itself because that is not the first word that a lot of people say. Usually they'll say like depressing, what in the world's going on. Opportunity. I love that. Okay, we're going to come back to that. Patrick, depressing. Talk about it.
It's a life lesson because you don't really know you're in the good old days until they're gone. Mm-hmm. So The week before spring break, we're all ready to get out of there. We don't want to see our teachers, and then we didn't get to see them for the rest of the year.
Yes.
We come back from spring break. Hey, we're taking another week off. Oh, you're staying home. So we need to learn to not take things for granted.
Yeah.
And just realize we're already in the good old days.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a bar. I look for a bar every episode. That's a bar. I think about that often. I have little ones. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you came back from Christmas break, started out the year, went on spring break, and then you're just kind of getting this information. Nope, we're not coming back. Nope, another week, or nope, not until. What did that feel like? Was that a big change for you? Did you enjoy it at the beginning? I know we were still learning about what COVID-19 was and coronavirus. We didn't have a whole lot of information, but how did you do with that transition?
At first, I was like, no school.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. Online school, a breeze, all A's, not doing anything.
Yeah.
But as time went on, it was kind of concerning because I was like, dang, what's going to happen next? Am I going to be able to go to my senior year? Am I going to be able to see my friends?
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of, it was just different.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of time to think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What about you?
It was nice at first. I got to start working, go out to the water a lot more and fish. But then it's week after week. I don't see my friends. Mm-hmm. And then it's 6 weeks in. I'm like, you wanna hang out? And they're like, no, my mom still wants me to stay at home for a while.
Yeah.
Over and over, and then closer to the end of the year, we got the news we might be able to come back to school, and that just came and gone. Didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah. So
it just kind of got dropped off as the summer hit.
Yeah, that is tough. That has to be tough. It was the same thing for my kid. My daughter, literally maybe a month ago, because we're still homeschooling this semester, and she was like, so how long is this spring break? Because according to her, she's been home since February. Mm-hmm. So how long does this spring break last? So I know that is tough. In addition to COVID, there have been so many events that have happened this year. What, if you could think about 2 or 3 pivotal things that have happened this year that have kind of changed your perspective or rocked your world or, caused you a little bit of pause? Can you just kind of pinpoint something that just kind of shook you up a little bit other than COVID?
I think I can go first.
Okay.
A major one was the Breonna Taylor death, George Floyd, and the Black Lives Matter protests really, really opened my eyes.
Okay.
Just because in the media, all I saw was coronavirus this, corona, how many deaths there's been, and there were so many other things happening in the world that we really didn't see until end of May, and that's we've seen progressively throughout the year. And I just feel like that really opened my eyes to see that, dang, everything isn't just about one thing. There's so many things and so many people that are being affected by certain events.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. What about you, Patrick?
I think police brutality has opened my eyes because you have each side of the government and they post what they want to post, but police that are overusing their powers can't really hide behind their side of the government anymore. So seeing that kind of opened my eyes because my family's a big blue family.
Yeah,
they've been serving for generations.
You have family on the police force.
Yeah.
Come on.
And seeing how these police are acting, it's really disrespectful to the families like mine. And
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. I feel like between Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, police brutality, rioting, elections, murder hornets, dust from Africa, add it to the list, okay? Yeah. There's so much. There's a lot of tension. And in the next week, I feel like there will be a little bit more, if not a lot more tension. We have an election coming up. Where are you? What do you see? What do you wish people would know? Just where are you with all of this? All the stuff that we talked about, where are you in the balance of it all?
I think in the political climate now, I just hope and wish that we could just take everyone's opinion and be able to understand it. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to want to debate with them or argue. I just wish that we could just embrace each other's differences. Yeah. And I feel like that would make a world of a difference.
Yeah. We talk about, and we did one show about that, about empathy and how important it is to get still because there is a lot of noise.
Yes.
It's just so many different things, and then people have something to say about the microcosm, about what you said, and this means if everybody just takes a breath and says, okay, let me just hear where you are. Let me just tell me. I don't want to hear to respond. I just want to hear, and I want to know because my vantage point is limited. I just have my world and my view, but we're made up of many views and many experiences. And so what you're saying is so important, just having empathy. And at the end of it, I can still disagree, but respectfully hear your position. It's important, and we're just not seeing that. So I hear you. Yeah, where are you what do you wish people would know?
Well, you got your 2 candidates. Our president has his racial threats, and our other candidate has racial threats that are butting heads. I mean, our president has made some very rude and racist terms with the supremacists, and our candidate has been saying certain people should vote for him because of their color. At the end of the day, no matter who gets elected, what's the worst they can do? We have the Senate and we have the Supreme Court.
Come on.
Laws have to be passed through them before they can be passed and be made. So at the end of the day, what's the worst thing we're going to go through? It took a lot for Trump to get his wall that isn't even a wall. It's just a bigger border patrol. So at the end of the day, what are we really going to get the worst of? Everyone was worried about that, and it's not even here.
Wow. So what's your foundation? All of this craziness, what keeps you grounded? What anchors you in all of this?
Friends and family.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
When I got here, I moved to Texas. I met this group of people, and they just kind of took me in as their own.
Yeah.
From the start, I felt welcomed, and every Wednesday I get to see them at church. We hang out on the weekends, and I got my mom. She's been my best friend. I've been with her, just me and her, for 6 years now.
Wow.
Through thick and thin, and we'll butt heads all the time. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we still sit on the couch with the campfire.
Mm.
Or the fire going in the fireplace watching movies.
I was about to say, you sit on the couch with the campfire. What type of setup? I love it. Friends and family. That's good. That's super important. Keeping the main thing, whatever your nucleus is, having a safe space to be able to breathe and retreat from all of this. What's your anchor?
Like Patrick said, friends and family especially, but just my motivation to make a change no matter where I'm at. Like, I want to work hard to help people like me or people that don't get a voice. And that's what really keeps me that really is what keeps me going. Yeah. Just having the ability to help people, even though if they don't have a voice, they don't think they have a voice, don't know how to use their voice for good. Yeah. So I just want to be there for people and just keep going, no matter how hard times get.
I love it. We did talk a little bit before this. Literally, my first time, I've seen Patrick a couple times. This is my first time meeting Miss Alexa. But what I did learn, she is a seamstress, an entrepreneur, a cheerleader, a basketball player, and an advocate for the marginalized. And so what is all of that? What do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a physician, particularly a surgeon.
And she's a physician and surgeon.
But I want to focus primarily on how African Americans are affected in terms of the ability to receive healthcare, their urge to want to get healthcare, and things like that. So, yeah.
Oh, love it. Okay. This man here, okay, both of them are seniors, by the way, class of 2021, if you cannot tell. And so he is a student. He is a drummer. He is a fisherman. I didn't even know there was a thing called competitive fishing, but he is a fisherman out here. What are you going to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? How are you going to change our world, Patrick? We need you. Go.
Well, to be an entrepreneur,
Come on.
I'd like to open a business one day.
Yeah.
I started here as a freshman, just kind of selling these little paracord bracelets, and really enjoyed making them, so I expanded my knowledge on it. And there's a lot of things you can make with it. You can make like survival backpacks out of it, out of just paracord. And I want to maybe open a chain someday, but my main goal is to be interactive. You have all these online stores nowadays. No one's interacting with anyone anymore. Oh. So I'd like to, be face to face with my customers and be the reason they come back is because they know me and I have conversation with them. I want to be CEO on the top story of a overview. I want to be in the store at all times. Wow, this is actually a great segue. Social media. We talk about connection. Okay. In my day, there was something called CD-ROMs and AOL messengers and dial-up that y'all know.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy. Well, you would have to put a CD in the computer and the internet would start. You would only get a couple of 1,000 hours of free internet and then you would have to pay for it. It's a whole thing. But we grew up in a very different day where we wrote letters to people and mailed them and, did a lot more face-to-face. Social media, I always feel like you have to be a biochemist to understand the ins and outs of social media and what everything means. So it's not just social media. It's like, well, so-and-so has this many likes and this person unfollowed this person and this person retweeted that and that means something. It's a lot. What is that like? Do you feel, is that your main source of connection with your generation? What do you feel about social media? Where are you all? Because you're how old if you don't
I'm 15. I turned 16 on Thursday though.
And you're
17.
17. So this is how you communicate. I feel like I'm watching like endangered species. Tell me about your people. How is this how you all communicate via social media primarily?
I would say no.
No?
For me. What do you think, Patrick?
Not really. No.
Yeah,
No?
I would say no. I feel like that's a common misconception, though.
Okay.
A lot of older people think that we're always on our phones 24/7, talking to our friends, just on TikTok, on Instagram, just scrolling. But I don't think that I communicate that much with my friends through Snapchat or TikTok or anything like that.
Okay.
Like, a lot of my friends either go to Trinity
Okay.
or like are outside of school, and I can still meet up with them. So.
Okay. And you're the same way.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, people have heavy screen times. My
Mhm.
screen time's 3 hours a day on average.
Okay.
Usually I'll call somebody and be like, let's go do something. I don't like texting. People don't like that about me.
I
But
don't like texting either.
Yeah.
I want to hold a
I'm a
conversation.
call every
Yeah.
time. They don't like it. Wow. Okay. That's a misconception.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other misconceptions about Gen Zers?
I made the joke about sleeping in. I'd say sleeping a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually we want to get up and get out.
Okay.
I can't stay in the house all day.
Let me ask you this. My parents' generation and grandparents' generation, they are the ones, I call them the builders.
Mhm.
Okay. They stay on a job for 40, 50 years.
Mhm.
Can you see yourself doing that?
If it's something I'm passionate about, I can stick with it.
Uh-huh.
But like I like to go with the flow sometimes.
Yeah.
I like to do whatever makes me happy.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't do just one thing for 50 years. I couldn't.
Yeah. What about you?
I think it'd be kind of go along as it goes. 'Cause,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm passionate about the business I want to open, but I don't know. There might be another opportunity to invest in another company. And
Yeah.
start something else and kind of, I'll have this one, but I'll have another one.
Got you.
I don't know if I would be able to sit still for 50 years.
Got you. Yeah. I appreciate that generation. I think there's a lot to learn because I think they have helped to build like a lot of the things that we see, just physical buildings, but also infrastructure, which is great. But there is a lot to learn from you all as well. Like there's another perspective about purpose. And you mentioned it too earlier, changing the world. I think that is a sentiment for millennials and Gen Zers. Like we want to change, we want whatever we do.
Mhm.
That's one of my main things. I want to shift the world on its axis. I want the world to know, like Beyonce said, I was here. You know what I mean? So I think that's a great thing. Couple just spitball questions. What scares you?
Not knowing what's next.
What scares you?
Yeah, probably not know what's coming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What makes you laugh?
I don't know. Jokes.
What makes you cry?
Cry.
Uh-huh.
Anything with my mom. Like if my mom got hurt or my
Mhm.
family, I would cry. For
What are you afraid of?
Afraid of. Ending up alone. Like if I lost my family. I've seen stories like that where they lose their whole family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's one of mine too. What are you afraid of?
Car crashes.
Yeah. What gives you the most joy?
When I'm sewing or doing something, reading a book that really entertains me.
Yeah. Joy.
Fishing.
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 Patrick, tell us about it. Okay. Just tell the people what you were telling me. I think this is incredible. I asked him, like, do you know every time you go out that you're going to catch a fish? He's, like I said, a competitive fisher. First of all, when did this start for you? And
I started fishing in Texas because everything's bigger in Texas.
okay.
We got big man-made lakes here.
Yeah.
So I came across a lot of people, I guess in my generation, know this channel called Guggen Squad.
Okay.
And they started off these 5 young men on their own. They started making videos together, and then they formed a squad.
Okay.
And Guggen means, a joke fisherman because everyone looks at YouTubers and competitive fishermen as, a joke.
Okay.
Like you're not going to make a business out of it. You're not going to be successful from it. But I stuck with it. I started reading into it. You have cloud coverage, how hot it is, how hot the water is.
Okay.
If it's raining, if it's windy, water clarity. I mean, there's textbooks on just competitive fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be a course in college if someone wanted to teach it.
Yeah.
And it just intrigues me. I mean, if I'm cold or if it's cold outside, like last night, I was just reading on fishing.
Really?
Opened up a new article.
Yeah.
I've learned when bass rods were made, what the first bass rod looked like. I mean, there's so much that you can just learn about.
You really
fishing.
love this.
Yeah.
You really love, and you talked about a scholarship too.
Yes. So the college I want to go to is Dallas Baptist University.
Okay.
And they have a 40% scholarship just for fishing,
Come
just
on.
to be on their team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen here, DBU. This is the man that you want, okay? Patrick is your guy. It's okay. So next year, what are your goals? Where do you want to go?
Spelman, SMU, Duke, or Baylor.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So Spelman and Duke are far.
Yes, very far.
What do you feel about this?
I am not a person that likes to be near Texas. I love traveling, going anywhere and everywhere. So, and I like Atlanta. So I'd love to go to Atlanta.
Nice. So. You would do great at Spelman.
Oh, thank you.
I went to Hampton.
Okay.
I did. I love good old Hampton University. My home by the sea. Which, speaking of seas, Patrick, you would love Hampton as well. It has tons of water there. I'm just so grateful. I love this conversation, and I've loved meeting you all. This gives me so much hope for the future. And I'm gonna give you like one last thing that you could say to the camera, to all of the adults out there. I guess you guys aren't quite old enough to vote yet and all of that, but what you would say to the movers and the shakers and people who are making the decisions out there, because you all are our future, and you give me hope for my children to see brilliant young men and women like you, who are compassionate, who show empathy, who are driven, who are firm on your beliefs, who are not just one thing. I'm really, really big on that right now. But what would you say to all of the people who are listening, from the Generation Z perspective? You all don't represent all of them, I understand. But what would you have them know? What do you want them to know? Patrick, I'll let you start.
About our generation?
Yeah, just about the world. Like, if you could just tell them, like, listen, guys, let's get it together. Or listen, guys, keep up the good work. Whatever you want to say.
I feel we just need to stay true to ourselves. During this time, I've seen a lot of ugly faces from people, and it's not okay in a way. It's like I'll try to go from, just to the store or to the mall or something, and I'm getting looks just because of what I look like. They don't even know me. I mean, I support everybody and everything, and they don't want to get the chance to know that. And they might have not ever been like that. I have friends that were some of the sweetest people and, loved everybody, and now these riots and protests are starting. They're just like, stay away from me. They just, they think that everyone has the same opinion because of our representatives. And I'd say that being the last thing with the election, just to stay true to your beliefs. If you don't like the Republican candidate, but you believe in the Republican beliefs, stick with your Republican beliefs. Same with Democrat beliefs. I wouldn't flip flop. Split voting or split ticketing. In my opinion, I feel like that's not still being true to yourself. I feel like that means you're undecisive and you don't know what you want. The research is there, just like fishing. It's there with politics.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I would say that we have to be more optimistic. I feel like right now we see gloom everywhere, from the news to what we hear when we go through scrolling on Instagram or scrolling through Snapchat. We just have to be so much more positive and just look at the better outlook on life, because not everything has to be gloomy. Not everything has to have despair in it. I just feel like we can make a change. We can turn things around if we just look at the positive and embrace everyone's differences. So.
Well, people, there you have it. Out of the mouths, I'm not going to say babes, they're young men and women, but out of the mouths of our Gen Zers, I'm just so grateful. I'm hopeful of a great future because of brilliant, creative, strong, innovative, compassionate young people like these today. I just think there is a hope. There is a hope for our future, and then ultimately there's a hope because we have a deep, deep down understanding that we serve a sovereign God who still cares, and he's still there, and he still loves you. And so I love you guys. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.